In case you weren't sure, if you are in a point of your life that you're looking forward to Mondays again, I have an expert to help you figure that out. Meredith Massee helps people look forward to Mondays. And but Meredith, I want you to talk about this, but I have been that person who on Sunday night has a stomach ache because I'm so afraid to go to work. So why are people afraid of Monday and what do they need to look forward to again?
Okay, let's jump right in. Let me just say, I too was someone who, for the first 15 years of my professional life, felt sick to my stomach on Sunday nights. I too had the Sunday scaries. And in order to look forward to Mondays again and the work week ahead, we have to first of all address what is creating those Sunday scaries. For me, it was being in roles that I was not hardwired to do well. Could I do them well? Yes, and did for a long time. But the difference here is that I had to push myself, and not in a good, like, hey, let's wake up and do something challenging today kind of way. It was like literally, Donna, swimming upstream every single day for probably one of three, or if not all three reasons that I can outline. This is what it, can I do that now?
Yeah, would you outline what was causing you to swim upstream? Was it external or was it internal?
It was but a combination, sort of. It was mostly self-talk that sounded like this. Why can't I just get motivated to do XYZ during the day? It must be me. I must just not be motivated. I must not be good enough.
Mm,
There it is. Mic
good,
drop. There it is.
good enough. Yep.
Here's the thing. Once I figured out what I do best, if you will, what my brain is hardwired to do, and how my brain is hardwired to do what they need us to do every day at work, which is solve problems, make decisions, and take action.
Right.
When I figured out how my brain tells me how to do that, it was I mean, it's just sort of geeky, but I have goosebumps right now. It was so freeing. And my self-talk turned from you're not motivated, you're not good enough, to when you are given the freedom to do it your way
Yeah.
and solve the problems, make the decisions, take action on the things that you care about in an environment that needs you to be exactly who you are, the freedom was life changing.
I hear you. And you experienced that when you learned what was causing the not enough monkeys in your head and you switched that, you experienced this new level of freedom and lightness. I can see it in your countenance. So
Oh, thank you. Yes.
do do you want to talk a little bit about the moment that you made the switch?
Uh, there have been several, but I'll tell you one moment. Uh, yeah, just one of several moments. I actually took an assessment, and I'm not here to sell anybody any assessments, but I took an assessment that said on one page of a 13 or 16 page report, one little corner down in the bottom said, avoid the stress of having to, bullet, bullet, bullet. And those bullets read like my job description for every job I'd ever had since I got out of college. Avoid the stress of having to Do the jobs you've always done. And I
So
thought,
what,
oh my God, it's not me. I mean, it is me, but it's not that I'm not enough. It's that I haven't paid enough attention to, or close enough attention to, what drives me,
right.
what I do best, because it's just how my brain is hardwired.
How do you think you got in all those jobs that didn't use your best skills or
Oh,
employed?
because that it's what my resume said I could do.
Mm,
I started in one, and then, the next one came because I said that I could do those things that I'd been doing.
yeah.
And it just turned into like this vicious cycle where even in a job that I mildly liked, it was in the travel industry and I got great benefits like staying in Ritz-Carlton's for $50. Hello. I had to
Yeah.
check a piece of my very being at the door every single day to walk
Hmm.
into that job and show up the way I told them I would and could in the interviews, in my resume, etc.
Right. Yeah.
Oh,
You got
shoot, now I have to pretend to be highly organized and detail oriented. I am neither of those things.
In how many years did you take those jobs before you realized you were in the wrong place?
15. 15.
Wow. Wow. So once you realized that, what action did you take?
I started to pay attention to three distinct things as I looked for, new jobs, if you will, in the future. Number one, what do I do? What are the
Hmm.
job requirements? Not title, not well, not title, but the actual requirements.
Yeah.
If it said anything about um, highly organized and detail oriented, girl, I was out.
It's kind of like using budgets. If it has anything to do with budgets, no, no.
Yeah, right. And I'm speaking a little bit in hyperbole to make a point. But
Right.
when it did say have characteristics of highly adaptable, um, able to go with the flow, take existing systems, processes, procedures, and use those and make them better.
Yeah.
So, so that's the first thing I started paying attention to.
Okay.
The second thing I started paying attention to, or more closely started paying attention to, was sort of the alignment of the whys, my why and the organization's why.
Okay.
Like big why, like why do we exist? What's our purpose?
Yeah.
When when my why and the organization's why were more closely aligned, magic.
Ooh, nice. Nice.
The third thing that I needed to and started to pay more close attention to, it was the where. Who are the
Okay.
people? Who are the people I would be working with? How long was the commute? What was the culture like? What was the like pay and benefits? That's part of the where. Because, for
Uh-huh.
example, if if an organization says, we believe in continuous learning, but part of the benefits doesn't include something around, you know, development, a development budget or training budget, mm, do I really believe it?
Yeah.
But
Yeah, you've got to
and with the
see where
people,
it actually meets the paper. Yeah.
yeah. And, do I share, do the people I work with share my wacky sense of humor? Do they quote, silly Monty Python movies or not?
That's so important. My daughter taught me that when she went to interview for a job she just got. She said in her recap to me, yeah, I met with 5 people today and I made them all laugh, and 2 people laughed twice. And I said, "That's your measure of a good interview?" And she said, "Mom, I'm just there so they can decide if they want to work with me." This is a 22-year-old straight out of college, and she's already getting it, that
She
the
gets it.
relationship means everything.
The relationships mean everything. And I'm not saying, I'm not, there's the thing about a culture fit, which I think is important. Let's also consider culture add.
Yeah.
How can I be an add to
Mm,
the team, to the organization?
yeah.
Because for too long, companies have hired people in their own likeness,
Hmm.
and culture fit was all the rage,
Yeah.
right? And now we've got companies filled with people who look exactly the same.
Right.
And we know that more diverse employee populations mean better business results. So
Well, don't you think
it's as
that,
much about how can I be a culture fit? Do I fit it? Do I belong here?
yeah,
Right? As a culture fit and a culture add.
right.
But
Absolutely.
it took me getting really serious about thinking about those three things. The what I do, the why I do it, and the where I do it, more intentionally, more consciously, to make
Yeah,
conscious choices about where I was going
right.
versus, well, this is what my resume says I can do. Now I'm stuck with it and I'm crazy as usual.
We can be crazy as usual and be in the right place.
Amen, sister.
Now, you are currently self-employed as a coach, right?
I am indeed. Thank you for that
And
plug.
do you feel like that's because you've been making this analysis in your life, that that's where you've landed, or is this until something else just blows up in my face and says, "Yes, this is where I need to be"? Tell me how you know whether you're meant to be an entrepreneur or not, and when you know it's time to consider another role.
Mm, wow, that question gave me goosebumps.
You goosebumped when you I love that.
I goosebumped. Oh, we've turned it into a verb now. Um, First, it's less about being an entrepreneur for me. I mean, that's important. It's more about getting to do the work that I know I am meant to be doing.
Hmm.
And the best way for me to be doing that right now in this moment is as a solo practitioner.
Right.
Um,
Get that.
how will I know? What if some amazing opportunity just presented itself? The universe held out the silver platter and said, "Hey, would I consider going back internal?" Of course I would, as
Hmm.
long as it meets, my criteria for
Right.
not not checking a part of myself at the door again.
Exactly. Because you might get twice the salary you've ever made. But if you have to check yourself at the door, what is the personal cost to that?
I can tell you, your health declines, your mental state declines,
Yeah.
and I mean, for me, it turned into some not terribly healthy habits, like
Hmm.
going out and hooping and hollering on a Sunday night to escape from thinking about Monday mornings.
Monday morning. Hmm. Yeah. And then you're not quite ready for Monday morning.
And then you're really not showing up as your best self,
Right.
right?
A little bit. Yeah. I know what you mean. And I've been there. And it- boy, there have been so many times when it's tempting to take that paycheck because you think, oh,
Yep.
I don't have to think about all the things I have to do to develop business and to manage my business and all that stuff on the back end.
Yeah.
In the long run, if we're doing sole draining work, then all of the money that we make to buy things for our families, it doesn't matter because our families are like, where's mom?
It's so true. No truer words have ever been spoken.
Yep,
Right, what's the cost? Your own health, your own mental well-being, um, your relationships with your
yep,
family and other loved ones.
yep. It's so
And,
true.
some people will say, you know what? The money is worth it. Uh, Good for you. Go for it.
Well, it's
Was
a
not,
trade-off.
it was not good for me.
Yeah. So what were some of the monkeys that were haranguing you when you were in not the right place?
Um, yeah, the loudest monkeys were, you're not motivated. You're not good enough. You're not working hard enough. Um, all of that sort of negative self-talk around not enough.
Mm-hmm. Did you find that you were motivated to work hard because you wanted some kind of affirmation from your boss?
Ah, you know, uh, words of affirmation happen to be my love language.
Oh, okay.
So there was a little bit of that. Um, what's really funny is in one role, my boss's boss, who was the owner of the company,
Mm-hmm.
no matter how hard I tried to please him with my performance on the job, no matter how hard I tried to read his mind,
Yeah.
every meeting I walked into with him, I felt like I was a disappointment.
Oh, now, do you have to own that? Do you think your boss owns some of that?
Ah, I own part of that, and I think this man, who was, don't get me wrong, a beautiful human,
Hmm?
but oh boy, could I just not ever read what he wanted me to bring into each conversation.
Yeah.
One time I would come in with the executive summary, he'd sort of pound his fist. He's like, well, damn it, Meredith, what about the details? Compared to what? That was his famous quote. Compared to
Mhm.
what? Oh, we're doing
Yeah.
really well. Compared to what? All right, so the
Oh.
next time I would come in with all the details, and he would get a little gruff about, oh, I don't, you're getting too mired in the weeds. Give me the,
Ah,
you know.
so
So,
that's irritating. That's just a two-sided story. So,
yeah.
but you're not
But
the
the
only one who
way,
navigates that.
but what I owned in that is how I took it in, right? And
Right.
how I
Because,
how I let that formulate the talk in my head and the stories I told myself.
right. So if our listener is driving to work right now, listening to this podcast and trying to prepare to put that deflector shield up, what's the one thing she needs to remember when she turns this off?
Shields down. Know your strengths. Know what your why is and stand in that power.
Yes, I can see you in the Wonder Woman stance now. Da, da. And that is Meredith Massee, ladies and gentlemen. And you can see her live in person if you're in Colorado Springs. We have a community forum on mental health on January 18th. So watch the show notes for a link to that. Make sure that you come and bring people to hear more of this from Meredith and a couple of other guests. Meredith, I'm so excited to, well, I swear I'm not going to say the word excited because every podcast host says that. But I'm glad you're here because you are so full of spunk and energy. And I have all your contact information in the show notes. Anything else you want people to know that you have going on?
Oh my goodness. Anything else I want people to know that I have going on? Not at the moment, I guess, but if you're gonna post how to get in touch with me, just keep an eye because I've got some ideas percolating for 2024 and how to support job seekers in figuring out their what, why, and where in a group setting.
Good.
Yeah,
So we will watch Meredith Massee coaching for scheduled events for 2024. And meanwhile, hopefully everyone will come to that January 18th session on mental health at work where we can bust some of the monkeys. Thank
amen.
you so much, Meredith, for this conversation. It's
Thanks for having me,
inspired.
Donna.